Hello and welcome back to another of my videos. Today we've got a 2006 SAAB 93 1.9, no, TID, that's it, TID, and it's in for an electric window fault. Now I should have started filming this when I first got the car in. Right, so let me try and explain to you what was going on. Imagine this is the passenger door rather than the driver's door. And with the ignition on, when you powered the electric windows up or down, they would go up so far or go down so far, but there'd be a terrible graunchy noise and you'd have to repeatedly go up or down to get it to go to wherever you wanted. So straight away I thought, well, the mechanism sounds like it's falling to pieces inside the door, because it's only held together with like a cord and some springs around the drum. So the first step is to take the door panel off and have a look and see where we can get to the motor. So to get these door panels off, it's basically you pull this end of this cover up here and unhook it up there, and that will pulls off. Then you've got two T27 Torx, I think they are, one in there and one in there, and then the rest of the door just comes off in poppers. And it just pulls off the door, quite straightforward, quite easy. And then once you've got the door panel off, basically you've got two wiring plugs that go in the bottom of the power window control unit. You've got your main feed there, and then you've got your control circuit there, which incidentally that's the same plug that goes into the back of a Ford Focus dash, which I thought was quite interesting, but nevertheless we digress. So once you've got those unplugged, you then have to unclip the door handle wire off the back of the door handle, and then you can remove the panel, and that's up there. And then you've got the foam insulation which goes around, so you go around with a knife and you cut around the edge of that to take the insulation off. And then you're faced with the mechanism, and the mechanism sits in the door. The motor sits here, and then you've got one bar that goes down here, which is held on by a 10mm nut in there and a 10mm nut on the stud at the bottom. And over this side you've got another bar that comes up this way, and it's held on by one 10mm here and one 10mm at the bottom. On the motor there's also a 10mm bolt at the top there. So you take all those out, and then you can slide the mechanism out through this hole in the door. So let me show you what we've got on the floor. Right, so this is the mechanism. This is the left hand bar, and this is the right hand bar with the motor assembly on it. And these two pads here, this pad which has got a 10mm clamp on it, and this pad here is what holds the window where it goes down behind the mechanism. So to get the mechanism out, first of all you've got to release these two clamps, and you've got to physically tilt the window at an angle and take it out through the top of the door to give you room to release these two top bolts, because otherwise you can't get it out because the glass is right behind the metal frame. So once you've got it all out, you've got three T30 Torx bits, one there and one there, and when you release those you can take the motor off, and the motor is held, is connected to the drum by a splined wheel. So maybe you can see that there, out of focus. Right, so if I enhance, see, the problem we had was this drum which holds the cable before it goes down these outer cables to the window mechanism. The drum's all broken around here, and it's allowed the cable to come off the reel, and it was getting jammed down by the spindle by the motor. It was getting wrapped up around, where are we? It was getting wrapped up around here. So I've ordered a new mechanism. Mechanism's coming tomorrow, and the mechanism will be as you see it there. Apart from it, it'll be intact and in pieces. And then all we've got to do is bolt the motor back onto it, onto the new one, and reassemble. Right, so when the new one comes tomorrow, I will continue filming and film the putting it together, putting it back together again, and then I'll explain in a reverse order how it all came apart. So right, so it's the next day and we've got our box with our magic mechanism in. Let's see if we can open these. Alright, just bear with me a second. Right, it's got those bits cut off of there. Alright, let's see what we got in here. So we've got some installation instructions, and we've got the new unit which is sticking through the box. There we go. So that goes that way, that goes that way. Right, let's go and match it up with the old one. Right, it all seems to line up okay. It's a slightly different design. Obviously these rails are a lot thinner than the original one. Where we've got studs on the bottom of the original one, we've got bolts now to go in. Same on that side. And where the motor light is, instead of a recessed bracket, we've now got a flat bracket with extensible bits on. It all seems to line up okay. So that's what we should have had in the first place. Focus, that's it. You can see what the drum should look like, all in one piece. So the next stage is to get the motor, and we'll bolt the motor on. Right, so this is how to fit the window mechanism back into the car. So to get it out, you'll just have to do it in reverse, so to speak. I've made sure these Torx bolts fit in the fittings in there, and they do. So now what we've got to do is mount the motor on there. So we need to cut this cable tie off first. That holds the drum steady to stop it being knocked off in transit. And then we need to position our motor over the splines, and onto the mechanism like so. And then we need to put our three bolts in. One, two, and three. Right, I'll be back when I've got all them tightened down. Right, so that's all fixed on there. Now we need to go back to the car and assemble it back into the car. Right, first of all, not forgetting to take these little 10mm bolts out the bottom of these brackets here and here, so they can go over there. Now let's see if I can set you up so we can see getting this back in the door panel. Right, I hope you can see there. First of all, what we need to do is to slot this in. motor comes in front of this bar here. We'll plug our wiring connector on, which is just push in and push the tab up. And what we need to do is to just quickly line these up. Where's the top one? And you can see that we might need a light. And you've fallen over. Right, so a bit of jiggery pokery, because it's slightly a different design. You've got to make sure you get your top mounting in first, and then you can wiggle it round to get your bottom bolt in, and then you have to make sure that this bracket at the top here, if I can get some sort of pointing device up here, which is the top part of the bracket, you have to make sure that sits in front of the window channel that runs down, otherwise it gets stuck and binds up. But once that's in place, you put your nut on the top there, you've got your nut on the bottom, or your bolt on the bottom, and your bolt at the top there. That's your 3 bolts that hold it in. So it's in loose at the moment. Now we've got to slide this part in here. Let me set you up so you can see that. Oh, I've got you clamped in the vise at the moment. So this is the part we've got to slot in this side. So that needs to go up under there. Careful not to stress the cables so the cables don't come unhooked. That goes in there. And then we need to line up, get this top pin up here, which is in there like that. And we'll put a nut on there. This is loose. And then we'll get the bottom bolt in the bottom. Right, and we'll get all them tightened up. So we've got one to do at the top here. One at the bottom. One at the bottom of this one. One at the top. And one on the motor. Right, now what we'll do is we'll plug the door panel back in. Before we put the glass in, we'll plug these 2 plugs back in. What we do, I'll just grab you out of there. Right, we'll put the key in, put the ignition on. Ignition's on. Now hopefully we've got the button down there. We should be able to watch this mechanism. So if we go down, and up, down. Right, so that all seems to work. It goes down, up, down, and you can see the little spring shock absorbers in there doing their bit. You can see in there. Where are we? Oh, there's the camera. I keep forgetting where the camera is on the phone. Right, so what we do, we lower that right down. Well, let's start with, I think what we do is we'll slacken that clamp off. So they have like little clamps to hold the glass. We'll slacken that off, and then we'll lower it down. We need to get a spanner in there to slacken that one off, because that one's tucked in behind the frame. So that clamp's nice and loose there. Now what we need to do is to slot the glass in from the top. So I'll try and set you up somewhere. Right, we'll hit the glass. Now the glass goes in that way, and it has to come out that way. So we need to slot that in there. When you slide it down at an angle, so that goes down and it straightens out. Need to make sure we get the bottom corner in the right channel. Right, I've now got the window in the channel. So what we need to do now is to slide the window down, nice and square. And what we need to do is to get it into the two slots to hold the window. So hang on a sec. Right, as you can see, the right one is sitting in the channel perfectly okay. The left one over there is 99% in. I don't know if you can see that down there, just by that bit of yellow. But I think I've got to undo the clamp a little bit more, but obviously the bolt is here, so I've got to raise the window back up. So what I'm going to do for the moment is just loosen the right hand one a little bit more. That one's fairly loose, so there's plenty of movement on that. I'm just going to connect the door panel back up and raise the window back up to about here somewhere, so I can fiddle with this bracket. Right, so with the engine running now, I've got it all adjusted nicely. All the clamps are tightened up. That clamp's tightened up there. That clamp's tightened up under there. And now, as you can see, the window goes up nice and easily, and all the way down. So all we've got to do now is I'll put some grease down the runners to ease it up, make it a bit better. And then we'll take the door panel back off, and then we'll reassemble. Right, so the next stage, are you recording? You are recording. Is to put this trim panel back on, this insulator panel. So to do that, all we need to do is to feed the door hooks through there, and the 3 wiring harnesses, 1, 2 and 3. Just as a matter of interest, the 3rd harness on the loom doesn't do anything, it's just got a blanking plug on it. Alright, so we need to stick this back in its place. So that goes up there, and what we do is we just go around and line all this up. Make sure the holes line up everywhere. Take under there. Make sure the holes line up from the door handles. Stick that on there. It's quite straightforward. It all sort of sits itself on there. Just goes around all the poppers. Got it there for the wiring loom. Goes under there. Squeeze all that on. Door stay. Like so. And I don't know whether you can see, can you see? I'll get a light to assist you. But around the door, we've got all these poppers. You've got a popper there, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 9 poppers around the door. So the door panel just presses on. Alright, we're back. And take the door panel. Obviously this is a reversal of removal. So what we've got to do first of all is just hook this door cable back onto the door handle on the back here. We'll do that last, I think. We'll get our cables put back in. One wiring plug in there, second wiring plug in there, the third wiring plug just clips onto the panel. Now to get the door handle in, we need to first of all hook the cable into the handle. Right, sorry about that guys, what usually happens, I'm filming away and my camera phone, my phone camera runs out of storage. Trying to get about 20-25 minutes of filming before the memories fill up. Anyway, so once you get the wiring harness plugged in the back of the door panel, you get the cable hooked back onto the back of the door handle. You then line up the panel on all the, it just slots onto all the little clips, making sure that you've threaded your button through the hole there, and it's just a case of popping all the panels off. So to get this panel off, what you do, you put something under the side there, and then you pop the first popper, and you pop the second popper. I mean, you can use a panel tool if you want to use a panel tool, or a spudger, like a spatula thing. Get under there, just pop each popper around there. So there's about 8 or 9 poppers around there, and the door panel comes off. So once you've got the door panel on, in here you've got 2, what are they, Torx 20, Torx 30, are they Torx 30? Yeah, they must be Torx 30. Yep, you've got 2 Torx 30 bolts, and so one to go in there and one to go in there, which obviously you'll need to take off if you're removing the door panel. So we'll slot them in there. That one goes in quite deep. So let's find the location. There we go. That one's in. And that one is not quite so deep in there. That's nice and tight. That holds the door handle to the main part of the door. And then all we've got is this bit of trim. Now it was a bit of a bugger to get off. Now to get it off, what you have to do, you have to pull this top edge up, and then you have to unclip along the top here, and then it all comes off. You can see there's not much holding it on, it's just a lip along the top and a bit of a lip along the bottom. So let's see whether we can get that back on again. There we go, it just clips on there like that. It certainly went on a lot easier than it came off, that's for sure. And that's it. So what we'll do is we'll just clean the window, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, so that's a big difference to what it was doing before. Before, when I pushed the down button, it would go, you get a nice horrible graunching sound. Now it's all nice and smooth. So we'll call that a fix. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that helps somebody, and we'll catch you in the next one.